So before we start this video, I wanted to quickly announce the winner of the Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales giveaway. The winner is Elfie367. Now, so you have won. We obviously are saying it right here. We're going to message you on this video if you comment, or on the last video that you were on. So we'll get in contact with you. We'll get your email. So just make sure that if you are Elfie367, you at least respond to us so we can get the copy of the movie when it comes out to you. So thank you for entering. Thank you, all of you, for entering the giveaway back when we actually did it a while ago too. So we really, really appreciate it. Hopefully we can actually give it away this time. You know, it kind of failed the first time. So thanks for all of you for entering, and I hope you guys enjoy this video of our Pirates of the Caribbean community series. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I'm joined by Tyler, and we are back for another video on our Pirates of the Caribbean community series, this time talking about, will Barbosa make a return? Will he be back in Pirates of the Caribbean 6 when that actually comes out? So before we get into this, a few quick announcements is, firstly, in 2 weeks, obviously, we do the every other week Pirates of the Caribbean video. In 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about the female leads in the movies, and we're going to be ranking them, talking about who we think is the best, who's the worst of the female leads of the movies. But besides that point, too, if you notice what month this is and what we're getting close to is Star Wars Episode 8. Now, Tyler, you and I love Star Wars, and we had talked about for a while doing something just like this for Star Wars, so we are here to announce that. We are going to be having a Star Wars community series. The same thing as Pirates, same format, same kind of thing as we're doing with Pirates for Star Wars. It is going to start in October. We're going to have an announcement video as it gets closer to October, and we'll go over what we're going to be doing specifically and all that stuff. We'll ask for suggestions there, but also right now, if you have any suggestions for any topics you want us to talk about for our series, and then I will have theories, we'll talk about Episode 8, but if you want to also have us talk about just Star Wars things in general, topics, leave it in the comments of this video, and also when we have our announcement video for that, leave it in that. So we just wanted to announce a Star Wars community series is coming. That does not mean we're stopping Pirates. Pirates is going to go on forever. We're going to keep doing this every other week, so don't worry about that. This is going to continue. So, Tyler, Pirates of the Caribbean 6. We've had multiple videos talking about how we believe it's going to come out, and to that, you know, we've had a lot of comments ever since Pirates 5 came out. Now, we predicted back in February that Barbosa was going to die in Pirates 5. We were right. We were one of the only ones saying it. We didn't hear any rumors, any theories, anything like that. We were the first ones. We said he was going to die. He died. And, you know, we had a lot of comments after Pirates 5 saying, oh, I really hope Barbosa comes back in Pirates 6. And other people have had videos kind of, sort of about it. And we had, you know, you had your Pirates 6 story. So we had that video on the channel. And in that story, you had Barbosa coming back. Now, not for that long of a time, and not as a main character. So let's ask ourselves, Tyler, will Barbosa be back? And to that point, should he come back? And I think that's arguably the bigger point is, will he be back? But should he also come back in Pirates 6? So what do you think?
Will he be back? No. Should he be back? No. At least I truly don't think so. And so the reason that I say no is because he already, spoilers if you somehow don't know, he already died in Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl. He was already brought back, and if you kill him again, which they did in Pirates 5, and bring him back again, then death becomes like not relevant in the Pirates of the Caribbean universe, and basically that takes the fear of any type of danger away. Like there's no way to ever be scared, like, oh my god, Jack might die, oh my god, Henry might die. Like, you'll never feel that ever again, because in your mind it's like, well, they just bring him back anyways. And so, you know, if that's not a good enough reason, which it is, but if it's not a good enough reason, when we look at Barbosa's character, he has the peg leg, he was older, he wasn't fighting as well, he kind of became lazy because he became rich, so he kind of became a little bit lazy. He had the fleet, so he never really had to do anything anymore. It just made sense for the character to basically not discontinue the character as if it's some kind of like fashion line or something, but essentially it was, in my opinion, the right decision to and that character, because he fully his character like development arc, he fully developed it, because we saw a total change in his character from the first movie to the end of the fifth movie. And once you kind of have a completed character development arc, basically, and a clear full circle, or a clear, not end, but like where you definitely it's like, okay, his character development, like as a person, he reached it, he fulfilled it, like he completed it. So once that happens, really it's like, well, do you keep him around? And then when you look at all the other stuff I just said, do you keep him around? No, you don't keep him around, because now you give the spotlight or that ability to develop other characters. You pass it on to them, like his daughter Karina. So yeah, that's my reason. No, he definitely. The only reason I brought him back for my Part 6 story, which is totally 100% official and is going to be what the movie is, made by Disney, because reasons. The only reason I brought him back was because I designed Pirate 6 my Pirate 6 as the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And basically, like, I didn't even plan for him to come back, to be honest. I was just like, oh, it would be really cool if they had to bring back all the deceased, all like the past generations of pirate lords. And I'm like, oh, shoot, that means Barbosa too. So it just kind of worked that way. Like, then it's like, okay, now Karina kind of gets a little bit more closure, knowing that it's her father in a way. So, then that would be more development, not for Barbosa, but for Karina. So, that's the only reason I did it. It just worked out that way. I didn't even mean for it to happen. But, if Pirate 6 is made, I shouldn't say if. When Pirate 6 is made, will Barbosa be in it? No. There's absolute, and if he is in it, let me put it this way: 100%, I can guarantee you right now. Mark it in the books. Write it in your ledgers. Barbosa will not be in Pirate 6. If he is in, 100% guaranteed, he's not in Pirate 6 or Pirate 7 or any of the newer upcoming Pirates of the Caribbean movies after 5. That should clear up any confusion. But so he will never be in any more of the new Pirates. Could he be mentioned? Yeah, he could be mentioned, but he's not going to be in it. Could he be in like flashbacks? I suppose, but I don't even think they don't even do that really, except for Jack Sparrow here. But I don't think they're going to do that with Barbosa, because he's, like I said, he's a completed character. There's nothing more for them to really need to go back and do for him. But if they bring him back, huge, massive mistake. And I gotta be honest, if they did that, don't know if I would see any Pirates of the Caribbean movies after that. In fact, if they did bring him back, I don't even think I would see that movie or any of the following movies. Because then, bring him back alive, like he's resurrected and alive again, then I would be done. Because why would I go? For the entertainment? Yeah, I mean, I guess. But like, I can just get the movie when it's on DVD or like digital, and I wouldn't go to the theaters, because what's the point? I mean, movies aren't cheap, first of all. I love Pirates of the Caribbean? I do. But that's a major mistake. And then there's that, like I said, like that takes away any of the dramatic, tense scenes. You never have to be worried ever. So that's not enjoyable, honestly. So yeah, if they did that, big mistake, and I think I wouldn't be the only one. I don't know about Alex. I think he would still go, but he would probably reconsider going if they had more after that. That's just my assumption. He can answer for himself right now, but that's what I think.
Yeah, so I mean, and so by the way, for Barbosa, we're going to have we've talked about him quite a lot, the Pirates 5 discussion video, the one that was kind of the spoiler-filled one after 5 came out. We talked a lot about Barbosa's character. We're going to have another video just dedicated to Barbosa when the movie comes out on Blu-ray. So when that movie comes out, we're going to have a video on him. But so for me, I agree with a lot of what Tyler said. I think you his character completely wrapped up, right? So he went through the full character transformation from 1 to 5, and he went through a lot of stuff. And yes, and we can talk about like his importance in 4 and 5 in this video and other videos, but he was obviously very important, but his character went through a lot. And like Tyler said, they made it abundantly clear, I think, in 4 and 5 that he's not the same person. He can't do the same things anymore. So like in 5, they showed that scene where he gets cut during the sword fight on purpose to show like he can't do this anymore. There's a reason, like there was a reason they showed that specific scene. And so to have him come back, like what would be the purpose of him coming back? You'd have to have a really good reason for him to come back. So, I mean, in that way, I'd say no. And I personally, like, to answer the question, do I think he's going to be in 6? No. Do I want him in 6? Also, no. I think his legacy is going to still be there. Karina, obviously his daughter, is arguably already the main character of 5. And she'll probably be the main character of 6. More than Jack. I'd even argue she's more a main character than Jack in 5. And and like Tyler said, like, will he be mentioned? I think his name will be mentioned. I think they'll mention, obviously, she probably wants to be called Barbosa. She says that at the end of 5. But you'll hear the name Barbosa. I wouldn't throw out the possibility that she'd have a scene talking maybe with Jack. Maybe they want to develop a relationship. Maybe with Will, talking about, like, what was my father like? And then Jack can, because we kind of wanted that in 5, you and me, Tyler. Like, where we wanted Jack to say, like, what Barbosa meant to him. And we got a little bit of it, and we know that they were close, even with the movies not really showing it too much.
It'll be interesting to see if that's a deleted scene.
Yeah, that would make me happy that at least they filmed it. It'd make me kind of like wondering why I wasn't in the movie. But I could also see that being another character development scene in 6. Her going to Jack and being like, what was my father like when or like I heard stories of him marooning you on an island, and then he can like chuckle it off and stuff like that. So I definitely think that could be a scene, and that's a really good way of paying respects to Jeffrey Rush and Barbosa, because he is a main character. He's been with the franchise since the first one, big part of the first one. Obviously, when he came back in the second one, that was huge. He's been in all of them. And if 6 is the last one, or it's the last one with Jack Sparrow, I know people want him. I know people want him in it. I know people would say, well, maybe they could bring him back as a ghost. It's just like Tyler said. You'd be destroying what death means to these movies, which they arguably already ruined with Davy Jones, depending on how they bring him back. So to have Barbosa back, even as a ghost, I think having just a nice touching scene where Karina asks about him is just as good. Because then you get to reflect back and be like, oh yeah, I remember this scene in Curse of the Black Pearl. Like, I remember Barbosa. You don't have to see him. And so having him just doesn't make as much sense. It takes away death. Like Tyler said, it makes it so that you're not so worried about characters. And to that point more, there's only so many characters you can fit on screen at once. When we did the collaboration video with SFZ before 5 came out, we talked about, like, the mother. Like, should the mother be in the movie? And I said that I thought that that's a bad idea because you can only give so much screen time to so many characters. And Barbosa kind of falls in that too, where he's not in 5 that much. I actually thought he'd be in 5 more because I thought we did think he was going to die. So we thought that he would be, like, a main focus of the movie. And he kind of was. I think he was the best character in 5. But he wasn't shown that much. So in 6... it's in a way, and we'll talk about, this will be my next question to you, Tyler, but in 6, you got to build up Karina and Henry even more, especially if they're going to carry the torch going forward. So you can't have too much screen time to Barbosa. So you got to really manage the time so what do you think of that angle? Like, just from if Barbosa was in 6, do you think he would take away? Do you think it's a good idea that he's gone now that they can give screen time to other characters, basically, is what I'm asking?
Yeah, the way that they did it was the best way that they, like, in my opinion, for his character, who he is one of my favorite characters, the way that they did, or what they did with his character in 5, with his daughter and all that stuff, which we didn't even know about, obviously, in previous movies, the way that they did that to kind of send his character off and to complete his character, that I can't think of a better way to have done it. So I'm really glad that's how they That's how they did it.
Like, so you think do you think it's good now that, so like in Pirates 6 they can now focus on, and also to this, do you think, we can talk about this here too, do you think 6 will be worse off, even though, now obviously, so we just said we both think he shouldn't and he won't be in it. Do you think 6 is like automatically starting at a disadvantage because it doesn't have him, or do you think it kind of gets offset by Karina and Henry now being in it?
It's offset because of Karina, it's what they're doing is no different than how I structured 7, 8, and 9 for myself. Because what are they doing? Because now you have a Turner through Henry, but you don't necessarily need Will Turner, but you still have your Turner. Now you have a Barbosa. It's not Hector Barbosa, it's Karina Barbosa, but it's still your Barbosa. So now and then, Jack Sparrow. But when you have these new movies, new stories, new characters that are totally different characters, probably with totally different, obviously their own backgrounds and different stories behind them, but there's still a connection to the past, to the other movies in the franchise. That's totally smart, in my opinion. Not just because I thought of it, but, that's what you should do. It's no different to me than what Star Wars did. Kylo Ren. Well, he's connected to Leia and Han Solo. Rey, we don't know yet. And how most people think, she's connected to Luke. I actually don't think so anymore. But there's still connections to the past. So that's for the older fans, and that's also for the new fans that are like, oh, okay, well, let's learn about the older movies, their parents. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the smart way to do it. So yeah, it's good. Like, not get rid of, but we can move on from the older characters that are they're complete. So let's have new characters that are like fresh, new, and have their own stories to tell.
And ultimately, that's where it comes down. That's what we were saying for Davy Jones, right? In that, I think, like, a lot of, and not like singling people out, I think people in general, and me included sometimes, is that people are obviously familiar and more used to and more acceptable of people that they've seen more often. So, like, seeing Davy Jones at the end of 5 is like, oh, he's not really like an old friend because he was a villain, but we all really loved him. So it's like, oh, an old person we really enjoyed seeing. But, the way you and I looked at it is this is kind of a bad thing if they do it the wrong way. If he's a villain, you're reusing him. And for Barbossa, it's, yes, he was an awesome character. Right? He single-handedly, I think, Jack was pretty good in 4, but I'd say Barbossa was the best character. And then in 5, I think it was a tag team of Barbossa and Karina. Those were the two best characters. And Barbossa wasn't even in a lot of scenes, like I said. So having Barbossa not in 6, yes, could be a problem. You're missing that kind of personality, that swagger that Barbossa has. So you're missing that. But at the same time, how much do you want to hang on to a kid? That's what makes Jack so special, right? Is that he's crazy. He does things just randomly. He has no real like sense of planning, although maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but he's always like surprising us is really the word, right? He always surprises people, and that's what makes him able to be good in every single movie except for parts of 5. But that's what makes him be good in the movies, because he can keep kind of acting on the spot. That's what makes him so legendary. But for other characters like Barbossa, when you have pretty much a straightforward storyline and you wrap it up, how much longer do you want to stay on the same character, right? You got to do what you said. You got to pass the torch on to Karina, who is also very interesting, right? She's the smart young girl. She has connections to Barbossa. She's being called a witch. She's obviously not. She's just very intelligent. She wants to go to school. She studies stars. She studies time, which is very important. So, like, you got to now give her a chance, right? And eventually her storyline's going to end too. Just like Henry, just like eventually Jack. But you can't stick on Barbossa Hector forever. You got to eventually let him go. So if you bring him back in 6, I get people wanting him and Davy Jones and all these characters back in 6, but you can only stand a character so long before they don't give you anything more to advance the plot. And same thing, like you said, same thing with Star Wars, same thing with TV shows when they go on to different cast members. Like, sometimes you just can't. That's why shows end. You can't show it forever, right? That's why movies end. All right, so we want to know what you guys think of Hector Barbosa. Is he going to be in Pirates 6? Do you want him in Pirates 6? Let us know in the comments below. Again, when Pirates 5 comes out on Blu-ray, we are going to have a video specifically saying goodbye to Barbosa. In 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about the female leads of all 5 movies. So we'll be kind of ranking them, but giving our impressions on them. So we got that stuff going on, and also remember, Star Wars Community Series starts in October. We will have an announcement video in September, kind of talking about everything you need to know about that. But again, anything you want Pirates related, leave in the comments. Anything you want Star Wars related, leave in the comments. We hope that a lot of you guys migrate over and kind of join both series, because we're gonna continue doing Pirates just as much as we're doing Star Wars. So thank you guys for watching Pirates of the Caribbean Community Series, and we will see you guys on the next video.